Hey everybody, it's me Margaret, and it's going to be interesting to see if this video is going to get made because my computer is down for the count. Now, I know a lot of you say, well, why do you need a computer? Because you just talk into your iPad or whatever and you upload. Well, I have to edit. I just fumble my words and I got to cut out all the boring stuff, or at least what I consider boring. You might consider the whole thing boring, but I guess that's all a matter of opinion. But anyway, see, look, I just forgot, lost my train of thought. So I'm working off another computer that doesn't have my normal software. I got to download it, find it out, but what a pain. See, look at my poor little computer. It's laying upside down, waiting on me to take it apart and put this new fancy schmancy SD, great big giant hard disk in it. But alas, I can't get the bottom off of it so that I can get into the stuff. All the screws are removed, and the internet says for my particular computer there is a little tape that holds it. No problem. It says just jiggle it a little bit and it'll pop right off. Well, I've spent 45 minutes jiggling a little and it isn't budging. So I'm hoping my brother-in-law can help me with that. And yes, I have told you before, I am first and foremost a computer techie, nerd, geeky person. However, I take apart and put back together desktop computers. Those are easy. Open up the back, slide in what you need, attach a few cables, and boof, we're ready to go. Laptops are a little different. First of all, obviously, you can see it's difficult to get some of them apart. It would be mine. But you have to remove things like the battery before you can ever get to the hard drive and yada yada yada. So anyway, I'm hoping I can make this video on Thomas's computer.
So last weekend we went to see Thomas, and as usual I packed everything I could possibly need in that 7-hour car ride except for my knitting needles. Now I do have some crochet hooks in there, but I didn't want to use that yarn that I had allocated for a shawl to crochet with. But it was okay, so I read a lot and watched past episodes of NCIS. So Friday night while we were eating out, we learned about this really cool place that had bowling alley and laser tag and arcade games and a ropes course, and so we decided to go. Now I'm no bowler, but I happily donned my bowling shoes and tried out a few different methods and styles. I should have stuck with that granny technique because I did pretty well with that, but instead my right hand yielded me these impressive results, a 38. Thomas had an off day because he usually gives Dad a run for his money, but he came in second. For some reason I didn't get any of Tucker's strikes, but he did win, clear as a bell, he won. Look, I improved at the second game, and this was done completely with my left hand. But I'm proud to say that I excelled at this ropes course. This was so fun. I climbed all over the place. But did we get any video of it? No, of course not, because my husband doesn't think to take video ever. We had a great weekend, and when we got home, we had a surprise. My big kids had given me a tea subscription for Christmas, and the first shipment came in.
Oh, look. Ooh, we're going to be trying out some tea. Well, I am. I don't know if Dad will drink this. Very good. Okay, and then it gives you a description. Here's your January tasting box. And there's some bags to create a filter. See, isn't that cool? Very nice. Good thinking, guys. So this is what I've been up to since we last talked. I pulled out a bunch of my scraps and got to work with the Addi. I actually dragged the Addi in here to the living room so that I could watch my big TV while I worked. So what I have done are just some Addi hats. There is a fair isle done with a variegated yarn in black. I just did a basic brim here. You can't see probably because it's dark. I did a reversible cuffed beanie. I did another, well, this is reversible, but it doesn't need to be reversible because it's the same thing in and out, but you get the gist. Did a hairband with some scraps. Let's see. I calculated, I usually do these hairbands at 90 rows on the small Addi, so I calculated and put this band of variegated yarn in the back. Added a crochet flower, need to put something in the middle there, and yeah, there's that. I'm not really thrilled with that. Maybe if I get a button that I really like, I'll get excited about it. More Fair Isle Addi. Now this is a rolled brim, and then I just did a little pattern right there. A black hat. This is fun. I hope the color's coming out. This is orange and a black light variegated that I just alternated every 5 rows, and then it's solid orange on the inside so that it's reversible in case you don't feel like you want to show colors. So that was fun. Then what have we here? This one is another scrap hat. I did about, I don't remember, 15 rows or so here. Did a big chunk of the variegated, no I didn't, I striped it. I variegated 5 rows, then 2 rows of solid. 5, 2, 5, 2. And it's reversible with solid in there. Then we have this one. Now this was some of that Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable. And no, it wasn't. Yeah, this is down here. This is that Unforgettable. These are just various light yarns that I have. And what I did was I held a strand of this. See how thin that is? Well, I don't know if you can tell, but this is a thinner yarn right here. Boy, my colors are off. And I held it together and I tried to hold it so that it fed into the machine the same way, like this ivory color on one side and the color on the other side, and that way most of the color came on this side and the ivory color came out on the inside. Now I did take a picture. I do not like putting the hand knit border on my Addi hats because I can't find a needle size that accurately mimics what's going on here.
This brim was done with 7mm needles, which was suggested to me by somebody on the Addi King Loomers and Knits Facebook group board, whose opinion I value greatly, and it just didn't work for me. I found it to be entirely too big. Now, it fit my head, which was important, but I didn't like the way that it looked.
So I went down to a 6. Well, when you do that, you end up with a definite child's hat right here. Let's see if I can get this color, because that is just nowhere even near the color that this is. There. So, yeah, you definitely get a child's hat when you put the knitted border on it. Nasty rain, 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 go away. Mom's sweet Bentley wants to play. Now I'm happy to say that I did finish the Mia hat that I was working on, and it came out well, much closer to my size. Now the first one that I did, you know, I have a really hard time working with my gauge. I don't have the ability to measure my gauge and have it come out right. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But anyway, to make a long story short, great hat, came out wonderfully, closer to the size that I need, but still a little big. I was hoping to give this to my friend Judy. Oh, I did give Judy some hats.
Just a reminder, Judy is my friend from church who has cancer, and I mentioned last week I was going to make her some hats. Well, I found my Phoenix hat, which somehow did not make it into the donation pile, and I'm so glad because this is so Judy. And then I brought her this little sporty one, which is reversible to solid black, that is double. It's thick, so it's warmer for outdoors.
And then I continued my scrap hat with some baby hats. Is this not the cutest thing? I just love the way it came out. I posted on Instagram that I hoped that I could pretend these were hearts for Valentine's, because don't they look like hearts when you look at them? And I love the little palm on top. This is actually 2 colors of red. I didn't have very much of this that I used. It was actually more of a wine or maroon color. And so I just mixed it all in here, and yeah, you can see a little better now. The 2 different colors in there. It looks good. There's my next task I need to learn. Jogless stripes, especially if I'm going to do pattern work. Yuck, I hate that. I'm going to see if I can find something I can sew over it. Because it sure is cute. And let me tell you what, I am having a good time magic looping. I've got it down now. And there's just a few things that were confusing about it at first. But once you figure out what's going on, it is a cinch. And I like it better than double points. I did double points pretty well. Not to brag on myself, but I did pretty well with those things. But once you figure out magic loop, so much easier. At least for me. And then I did a multicolor palm that is fun, and I thought, oh great, I'll put this on a black hat. But I ran out of black. I don't have any more solid black that I know of. I got to go on a hunt. Now here's a fun one, but I have to hold it because it's so heavy it's knocking Miss Whitehead over. But this was done on the Addi king size, and I used a forest green Karen 1 pound, which Addi Express hates, at least mine does. But because I had to do this so slowly, it worked really well. And I think that other one was a red heart. I don't remember the colorway. It's just what I had left over. But here's a few interesting things that I want to point out about this. I like the band. I did a crochet, single crochet, back loop only, and then joined it and attached it to my Addi.
Wait, let's clarify. I attached it to the rim of the hat, not to the machine.
I had cast on with waste yarn so that I could easily pick up those stitches. You see that one right there? If I lay her down, I can point. Then I could easily do my stitches, attach them right here. Problem is, I don't like the way I attached it, because you can see those stitches. So I put it on the inside of the hat, and I should have put it around the outside of the hat. So I'll do that next time, but I really do like this border. The thing is it's stretchier, it fits an adult. I like the way it looks. Much better than knitting with needles. So I think I might implement this a little bit more often. Let me work a little bit more, and then I'll do a tutorial to show you how I did that. Now, another thing about this hat is that I started this direction. Is that right? No, I didn't. I started up here, and I cast off with waste yarn. That's what I did. So I started up here with this green, and then I got started doing the Fair Isle. Now, because I worked the hat this direction, like that, I ended up having my knit stitches be upside down on the finished product. Now, I'm not sure if that really makes any difference. Quite frankly, it doesn't make a hill of beans worth of difference to me. But you see that we have little tints instead of our typical V stitches. So if that bothers you, and I'm sure that there are people out there that this would bother, then you would want to consider your beginning to be the bottom of your hat. So when you cast on, this should be the bottom of your hat, and then begin the process so that you end up with your knit stitches as V's. Now here's something else. We always talk about the Addi Express as being a fixed gauge machine, meaning that you cannot change the gauge, you can't change needle size or anything like that. But look at a regular Addi stitching. Okay, look at the difference in the size of my stitches. Can you see that? This is the Fair Isle technique, and this is just regular knitting. And look how much smaller the stitch is, which I thought was very interesting. So you may want to keep that in mind when you're sizing. You know, I'm pretty disorganized on a regular basis, but now we've got some big things happening at the Olander house right now. So I'm not ready to give you all the details on that just yet, but that's kind of affecting the choices that I make in what projects I choose. Pretty much I'm wanting to work down my stash, especially those open skeins, as quickly as I can. And that's what's going on right now. So I'll fill you in soon, but in the meantime, talk to you later. Bye.